Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to create a grid. Now first of all, in your art, not in your art bag, but in your new art packet of papers, you should have two colorful pieces of paper that have different famous artists on them. Make sure you find both of these. If you don't have them, reach out to me and I will get you these papers. So these are paper clipped to your new art papers that you got from your classroom teacher. You also need a ruler today. It's important that we have a ruler because we're going to be doing some measuring. Pencil, make sure you have a pencil with an eraser and a white piece of construction paper. All right, now first I'm gonna pick which artist I want to draw for my final portrait project. You can choose either. I'm gonna choose this artist. All right, now I've got my pencil and my ruler, so I'm going to be drawing a grid on top of this paper. A grid is an equal amount of boxes going up and down and left to right. We're going to be drawing a grid that has 1-inch boxes. So what I want you to do first is place your grid at the top of your artist paper. Not at the very top, but somewhere towards the top. Place your ruler at the edge, so make sure 0 lines up with the edge. And then we're going to place a little mark at each 1-inch point. So that means I have to hold my ruler down and place a mark at 1 inch, just a little tiny mark, 2, 3, 4, and 5 inches. I'm not going to go to 6 because I don't have space for that. Then shift your ruler down towards the bottom of your paper, not all the way, but towards the bottom, and do the same thing. Mark a point at each inch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to connect these points. So place your ruler on the first 2 points and make sure they're both touching the ruler. Hold your ruler with 2 fingers wide, like I'm doing right here, really wide, so it doesn't wiggle. And then go ahead and make a straight line with your pencil. Should look like an even thickness here. Next, connect the next 2 points. And then the next 2 points. Next 2 points. And then the last 2 points. All right. So I have an equal amount of boxes now going from left to right, but I have to repeat this process the other way to get boxes going up and down. So this time I'm going to flip my paper and I'm going to line my ruler up again at the edge of my paper. I'm going to put my 0 at the white part here. I don't need to do it all the way at the edge, just at the edge of the picture. And then I'm going to mark at each 1-inch point. So this time I have 1 inch, 2 inch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Shift my ruler down, make sure the 0 lines up at the bottom, and place a point at each 1 inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then I'm going to connect these points. Make sure your ruler touches both points, hold your ruler wide, and make a straight line. Do that for all of your points. Go slow, this can be tricky business here. If both points are not directly on the ruler, you might get a crooked line. All right, I finished my grid. It looks pretty good. It looks like my boxes are pretty even. I don't have any crooked boxes, so that's good. So now I finished my grid on this paper, but I have to repeat the grid actually on my white paper, and that's the last thing I'm going to do today. So an easy way to do this might be to place your paper in the middle of your white paper and hold it down and trace it first. That way you'll know that this grid is the exact same size as the grid on your colorful paper. Because what you're going to be doing next week is you're going to be copying the artist and their portrait onto your white paper. So you want to make sure your grids are the same size. Okay, so I've got my square, it's the same as my colorful paper. I'm going to do the same process again. Now you guys know I'm going to start lining up 0 towards the top of my paper and place a mark at each 1 inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to do 6 for this one. I don't have enough room for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going a little bit faster since I've kind of got the hang of it now. Line up. Next 2, line them up on the ruler. Next 2, line them up on the ruler. And my last 2 points. Okay, that looks good. It looks pretty much the same as this one. Repeat that again. I'm going the other way. I'll line up my 0. Actually, I'm going to move this a little bit down because I remember my 0 was a little bit above because I had that white line. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Move my ruler down. Line up the 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now I'm going to connect my final dots. I'm almost done. All right, I've done it. It looks like it is about the same grid here. Everything looks even. None of my boxes look too crooked or diagonal. One last thing you might want to do is label your grid. So it's helpful when you're trying to copy this picture onto the blank grid if you have some numbers and letters. So I'm actually going to label this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to leave the last box because I don't really need that one. And then up and down, I'm going to label this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Same thing on this side. I'm going to label, actually cross this out. I don't really need this spot. I don't need this spot either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. All right, so that way next week when I try and copy each of the shapes that I see on this grid, I'll know which box matches up. It's kind of like if you've ever played Battleship, you can kind of look and see A1, C3, and look at what shape you need to copy. So we'll save this until next week. Go ahead and put this in your art bag or your art folder, and we will watch the second video next week.